please hit that subscribe button. Hey everybody, better suited to win the Stanley Cup this season. If you are new to the channel, Washington Capitals, the Boston Bruins.
Locked on and he scored! And we're live.
Hey everybody. So last night we got an exhibition game version of the Battle of Alberta. And exhibition game or not, once again, these two teams showed what a real hockey rivalry is like. They were all over each other, down each other's throats, playing extremely physical. First game back, first time playing real hockey in almost 5 months, 4.5 months since these teams have played any hockey game. And they are all over each other like it's a playoff game from the get-go. And it just once again shows that Calgary and Edmonton is by far the best rivalry currently in the NHL, and it is not close. No other rivalry comes close to this. And it really got me thinking, at least right now, nothing's even touching Edmonton and Calgary. And it really got me thinking that I wish there were more rivalries like this in the league. I wish every team had a particular matchup, a particular opponent that you just circled the calendar for and made sure that you were watching that game, because Edmonton and Calgary is must-watch hockey every single time they play. It doesn't matter what kind of game it is, playoffs, regular season, preseason, exhibition, literally does not matter. These teams are down each other's throats, all over each other every single time they touch the ice. And this is the level of hatred, animosity, physicality, violence, anger that is supposed to be in a hockey rivalry, but unfortunately, in today's much softer NHL, we don't see very often anymore. This is what a rivalry is supposed to be like, and I wish there needs to be a lot more like this throughout the league. This is what it should be like when rival teams meet up. Every time. And Edmonton and Calgary continue to deliver every time. I mean, it was an exhibition game that literally meant nothing. It was a warm-up last night. It was a warm-up game. And these two teams go out there, and Cassian is hammering guys. Tkachuk is starting stuff all over the ice. These teams are all over each other like it's Game 5 of a playoff series. And they're just hammering away, and it's full-on Edmonton and Calgary in a freaking exhibition game. It's so easy in a game like that to just go through the motions. I mean, you haven't played hockey in months. It's so easy just to go out there, treat it like a scrimmage, go through the motions, and just try and get back to the normalcy of playing a hockey game again. But not with these two teams. They go out there and they just beat on each other once again, and it is delightful to see. Hockey at its finest, exactly what hockey in a hockey rivalry is supposed to be. And unfortunately, there aren't really any other rivalries like this currently in the NHL. You still have your certain matchups that are always good, for sure, but nothing has even come close to what Calgary and Edmonton have done this year with how great that rivalry has been. No one else comes close. And these two teams, it's an absolute war every time they go out on the ice and play against each other. And that's exactly how it's supposed to be. And back in the old days, that's how a lot of rivalries were. There were a lot of rivalries that you knew as soon as those two teams got on the ice, the bloodbath was starting. And unfortunately, nowadays, you just don't see it. There's not that level of animosity. There's not that level of hatred. And there's not that level of physicality that we're getting to see with the Oilers and Flames. I mean, this season has been spectacular between these two teams. Tkachuk versus Cassian round 1. Tkachuk versus Cassian round 2. Line brawl, goalie fight. It's hockey at its best. Every time these teams touch the ice, it's hockey at its best. I was really, really hoping for a playoff series between these two. If the season had continued normally, I fully believe we were going to get it. Edmonton was going to finish second. Calgary was going to finish third in the Pacific, and that was going to be a first-round playoff matchup. Now, with the everything that happened, and they're both playing in the play-in round and the reseeding, it's going to take, things are going to have to work out perfectly for them to to meet up in the playoffs, starting with both of them winning their play-in round series, which is not a given. And then both of them would probably have to go till at least the second round before at least the second round before there's even a chance for them to meet up. Maybe even the conference final before those seedings would ever work out that way. So to me, it's very unlikely that we're actually going to get to see them play in the playoffs this year, which really sucks because I wanted that series more than anything else in the NHL this season. I wanted a playoff series between Calgary and Edmonton. Probably not going to happen, but still, they showed us in a freaking exhibition game how great that rivalry is, how strong that rivalry is. And I just wish there was so many more like it in the NHL, where it's circle your calendar, must-watch hockey every single time they play. And there just really aren't that many like that. None of them reach the level of hatred and physicality that this rivalry does currently right now. Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, I would say used to, but that one's really died down over the last few years now. Boston and Toronto, there's definitely a huge rivalry there, but they don't reach especially Toronto, does not reach the level of physicality that either Calgary or Edmonton does. There's just nothing else like it in the league right now. There really isn't. I would say Vegas and San Jose would have been the closest, but San Jose was so bad this year that kind of just ruined that rivalry because San Jose wasn't even in contention for like 90% of the season. So that kind of put a damper on that rivalry a bit. But overall, I wish every team had that one rival, that one matchup that you looked at on the calendar and went, I have to watch that game, because that's what Edmonton and Calgary are right now. That's what the Battle of Alberta is. It's must-watch hockey right now. And I just wish every team had something like that, had a rival like that, where they looked at each other and you just went, I'm not missing that one. That game will be on my TV. It's how hockey is supposed to be. They're showing what a hockey rivalry is supposed to be. What the level of hatred, intensity, aggression, all of it is supposed to be. And we just unfortunately don't get to see it that often anymore with the league the way it is now, but it's hockey at its absolute best. And I just wish there was more of it, and I'd love to see, maybe even these playoffs spark a new rivalry like that. Maybe there's a really nasty first round matchup that all of a sudden teams go, whoa, those two are big time rivals now. It's not going to see, I don't think, a lot of divisional matchups in this year's playoffs with the seeding and everything, so that might make it tougher to get those, real strong rivalries. But hey, we see, Washington and Carolina again, Pittsburgh and Philly. Those are teams, New York Islanders, New York Rangers. Those are teams that could really spark a big-time rivalry and could, potentially get to levels of animosity that we see in that Calgary and Edmonton matchup. But right now, there's just nothing else like it in the league. And I wish there was. I mean, I really wish there was. I wish there were more rivalries like that. I wish every team had a rivalry like that where you just knew it was going to be intense, aggressive, and just downright physical and even violent when those two teams played, because that's exactly the way hockey is supposed to be. And that's exactly how two rival teams who in the same division who hate each other are supposed to play. So Calgary and Edmonton, bravo once again. Great job. Even an exhibition game, it's Calgary and Edmonton, Battle of Alberta. It's the best the NHL has to offer right now, and I wish we saw a lot more of it. So with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description below. If you'd like to further support the channel, donation link, Patreon, and merchandise store down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.